March 6, 2018. The final Sprinter Selection Sunday is officially here, with Champ Week moving into high gear, even with the Big Ten throwing a wrinkle into everyone's plans this year. The field of potential champions moves from the 300s to 68 over the next several days. Mid-major favorites will fall, bubble teams will be eliminated, one seeds will be decided. Which teams have the most at stake during Champ Week? Create up to 25 brackets and compete against ESPN talent, pro athletes and celebrities for all the bracket glory. Play now. 1. Notre Dame Fighting Irish. The Fighting Irish simply don't have the resume for an at-large bid right now, with a middling RPI in the 60s and a 6-10 record against quadrants 1 and 2. But they're also not the typical bubble team, as they've looked significantly better since All-American Bonzie Colson returned from injury after missing 16 games. Notre Dame beat Pittsburgh in his first game back, then took Virginia to the final minutes in Charlottesville before falling. Here's the thing, though, Notre Dame wasn't exactly blowing the doors off when Colson was healthy in November and December, with losses to Ball State and Indiana. The Irish's best win by far is Wichita State. They'll likely need to make a deep run in the ACC tournament, but they'll have chances versus Pittsburgh, then Virginia Tech, then Duke. If they can reach the semifinals, they could sneak into the NCAA field. Point 2. Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. There won't be another mid-major team under more pressure this week than the Blue Raiders. Entering this past weekend, they had the best at-large profile of any mid-major team and seemed poised to earn a bit even with a loss. Then they dropped a home game to Marshall, losing to the Thundering Herd for the second time this season. Given Middle Tennessee's best wins this season are over Murray State and Western Kentucky, a great RPI and record away from home might not be enough to save the Blue Raiders anymore. It could be automatic bid or bust for Kermit Davis's team this week. This is the list you don't want to be on. Kansas is on it. So is Kentucky. Who isn't? Well, 8 men's basketball teams avoided having the name called. March can get confusing. We're here to help. Want to sound smart? We've got the players to watch and the proper way to pronounce those hard-to-say names. Want to avoid disaster? Avoid these teams and these menu items for your viewing party. Point 3. Louisville Cardinals. The Cardinals have had a very difficult schedule to finish the season, but they still haven't done enough to secure a bid. They enter the ACC tournament having lost 4 of the past 5 and 7 of the past 10, after beating just one NCAA tournament team since mid-January. Right now, they're among Joe Lunardi's first 4 out in the most recent bracketology, with a 4-12 record against quadrant 1 and 2 standing out among the negatives. Louisville faces Florida State in the second round of the ACC tournament. That's an absolute must-win for David Padgett's team. A win there, and the Cardinals get a third shot at Virginia. The two teams played last week, with the Cavaliers eking out a 1-point win. Point 4. The Pac-12. Would it be a shock to see the Pac-12 get 2 bids on Sunday? Not really. Would it be a shock to see the league get 4 or 5 bids? Probably not. There are a lot of outcomes to be decided in Las Vegas this week, and the Pac-12 enters Champ Week with one surefire NCAA tournament team, Arizona. Arizona State is in okay shape right now, but the Sun Devils have done next to nothing since beating Xavier and Kansas in the first few weeks of the season. Fortunately, those 2 wins are perhaps the best tandem of wins of anyone in the country. ASU finished below .500 in a down Pac-12 and needs to beat Colorado on Wednesday to feel good about a bid. UCLA's road win over USC on Saturday leaves both teams just ahead of the cut line heading into the Pac-12 tournament, and an early exit from either team would mean trouble. UCLA will face the winner of Stanford, California, while USC gets the winner of Washington, Oregon State. Speaking of Washington, the Huskies losing 5 of 8 puts them in a tough spot. They might need a run to the title game. Utah is in the same boat, despite winning 6 of its past 7. Can Colin Sexton and the Crimson Tide do enough this week to get into the NCAA tournament field? Rich Gressel, Icon Sports. 5. Alabama Crimson Tide. Here are some of the Crimson Tide's trends over the past few months. They lost 5 in a row to end the season. A loss in the SEC tournament would be the 15th on the season. They are below .500 in SEC play, and since starting 5-0 in November, the 12-14 overall. Like every SEC team, they have a solid collection of impressive wins and a good number of Quadrant 1 and 2 wins. But the growing number of losses is starting to stand out, and they have to play Texas A. A loss there could be fatal. 6. Oklahoma State Cowboys. The Cowboys are suddenly an intriguing bubble team after beating Kansas from the second time this season on Saturday. They now own 2 wins over the Jayhawks, plus wins over Texas Tech, West Virginia, Florida State, Oklahoma and Texas. So why are they even on the bubble? Well, their RPI is in the 80s, the non-conference SOS is in the high 200s, and they finished below .500 in the Big 12. They will have to beat Oklahoma on Wednesday in the 8-9 game, and then they get a third shot at Kansas. Can they get a bid without reaching the semifinals? 7. Syracuse.